It seemed like you were trying to be encouraging and really keep things upbeat out there. And is that an emphasis for you at this closing stretch when otherwise maybe energy could sag a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just how I've always been, but maybe it's more highlighted just now with knowing that we're out in the playoffs. But there's still lots to play for. There's still the future here. There's still guys that need to continue to get better, and myself included. So if you're a pro, you approach it the same way all the time. I think that's the message always in here, is that if you're going to become a pro and a good one, it doesn't matter the circumstance. There's a job to do and a way to get better, and we're still not where we want to be. So every guy to a man needs to take that to heart. And so that's just, I don't know how I think every guy is approaching it. I'm proud of that in here.
Joining a team this late in the season like Joe Foligno has can't be easy. But what have you learned about him personally and professionally?
I think, first of all, he's a great guy, which is always important when you bring somebody in the room, that they're, a great person. And so I'm really happy. But also the way he skates, and he can make plays happen. It's impressive what he did last game. I think he's starting to feel more comfortable, which you're starting to see his game come out a little bit more. But yeah, he's a good pro, and just watching him, how he prepares, how he takes care of himself. And low maintenance guys are usually the guys you like, and he's the guy like that, where he just comes in, does his job, and I think he's excited about the opportunity he's going to get here, and we're happy to have him.
How needed was the win the other day, especially going into the off day? Everyone got points. It seemed like for the mood's sake.
I don't care about the points. I care about 2 points for the team. I'd rather win 1-0, to be honest with you. But I'm happy for our group because it's important to understand what you did in order to get the win. And you can dissect it a million different ways. You can look at it negatively or positively. We found a way to get the job done, and that was lacking in a lot of the games. And I think especially after an emotional one in St. Louis with Patty announcing his retirement, and even seeing Marty go down, and I think I was really proud of our way of collecting ourselves and finding a way to get a big win at home for our fans too, right? And we talked about that a little bit, how we need to make this last little stand here an important one for our fan base, for ourselves, and continue to grow Blackhawks hockey.
It's a little bit of a shot to the system to be losing Maroon and, having recently lost Craig Smith as well.
Yeah, I think it's just hard when you, especially, Patty, who's been around a long time, has been respected in this league for a long time, and and what he means in the room here to the young guys, to the older guys. He makes it fun. He's a competitor. He's a good pro, and so when you start seeing guys like him retire, it's sad because I'll miss seeing his face as much as I hated it throughout my whole career. But that's usually the sign of a great player and a guy that's made an impact, right? He's a guy that you knew when he was on the ice, right? So we're gonna miss him. But I think one thing about him, and even losing Craig Smith, like, they're good pros, but you're happy for them in the career they've had, right? And Patty is a guy that I think every guy in this room is really proud to have known, played with, and has admired his career. 3 Stanley Cups and a big part of every room he's played in. And that speaks volumes about him as a person, so I'm thrilled for him and his family.
Throughout the year, you kind of talked about, various moments where you thought the team could turn the corner, that sort of thing, and you strung a few good performances together. But when it's at this point, and there's 11 games left, and you can finish strong, but it's not, a ton left to determine. What do you kind of do to keep up the motivation for yourself personally?
I just think it's my job. I knew what I signed up here to do, and so it's try to help move this forward. And whether it's in increments or as big jumps, it's still, you got to try and push this thing forward and help. And I think that's where you separate yourself from a guy who really cares, or a guy that just, it's when it's convenient, right? And I think we're weeding out some of those things too in here, where we need guys that want to be a part of this, right? And it's not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. It's hard. It's, as you can see, it's an emotional roller coaster a lot of days. But we're hoping that we can start to solidify ourselves, and it's going to be an important last stretch to go into a really important summer to then pick up and move off of this feeling in here, right? And so it's not going to just jump leaps and bounds. It's little increments, and so I've been encouraged by some things I've seen, and I think I've also been made aware by some things I've seen, and we'll discuss those in the summer and try to better ourselves for the season coming ahead. So these next games are so important for the identity of who we're trying to be. It's not. I know fans and everybody wants a quick answer. They want to know, and it's emotional, and but this is the hard part of what we're trying to accomplish. It's you're doing it on the fly. You're not doing it while everyone else is sitting idle. You're doing it while other teams are getting better, while teams are ramping up. So it's a competitive league, and I think that's where we need to understand it. You don't want to get left behind, right? And so it's making sure every guy to a man, whoever's going to be a part of this, is understanding of the job that's going to be needed down this stretch and then into the summer and going into next season.
Are there can you share any of those things that I guess have alarmed you a little bit, or
not yet? I mean, I still haven't dissected them all myself, so I'm sure we'll have that conversation down the road. But I mean, there's obviously things that we need to improve here, but that's probably for a whole other conversation at a different time.
We all silly like the mayor.